What's up, boys? It's Super Bowl weekend, so we'll be talking about some NFL Super Bowl player props in today's video. So, Prize Picks has a bunch of stuff on the board. As you guys can see up there, we'll name them all off here. But yeah, it's going to be a pretty good video here. So, if anyone is not already on Prize Picks, I highly recommend joining. Seriously, they're best for all player props in my opinion. I use them personally all the time. So if you guys are on Prize Picks, highly recommend joining. Available in most states. Use code DOMG. When you guys do go ahead and sign up, they match your first deposit 100% up to $100. So I definitely recommend joining. A bunch of you guys have been using that code. Seriously, do appreciate it. It's available in most states, so definitely recommend joining. But all right, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these player props here. I think that's pretty much going to do it. I'm a bigger NBA guy than NFL guy. Well, I'm a bigger NFL guy than NBA. But when it comes to player props, I'm typically a better NBA game. So always do your own research, though. Obviously, these are just early picks too. This is Friday. Super Bowl's on Sunday, so if I do end up making some entries for NFL, which I probably will, it's not always going to be the picks that are in this video. So that kind of makes sense. So just always do your own research. But here we go. Let's hop into this here. All right, so let's take a look at all these player props here. I mean, there's sections of them. So we got passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards. Got receptions, fantasy score, longest play, targets, rushing attempts, passing touchdowns, reception touchdowns, touchdowns, passing completions, passing attempts, quarterback completion percentage, quarterback rating, field goal made, longest field goal, shortest field goal, PAT made, tackles, sacks, tackle for loss, quarterback hits, first down allowed, third down conversion allowed, fourth down conversion allowed, time of possession allowed, punts, gross punt yards, and longest gross punt yards. We got a lot to choose from here. So we're going to go with some of the basic stuff, though. We're not going to do anything super crazy like gross punting yards or third down conversions allowed or whatever. So it's just some crazy stuff going on here. And it's pretty cool. They also have NFL futures on here, too. So you can, I believe this is for next season. And you can just go ahead. If you think Derrick Henry's going to have over 1,450 yards on the season, you can go and take his over, pair it with like Jonathan Taylor on the over, and go from there. So pretty awesome that they're doing a bunch of stuff with NFL and all that, and obviously we still have the NBA. So, but if anyone is new, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn post notifications. Those are the things that help me out. So, appreciate you guys with those three things. But yeah, let's hop into this and finally talk about some of these. I know it was a longer intro. Apologize. Let's hop into this now. All right, let's take a look at the receiving yards prop. We're gonna go ahead and start out with OBJ. How I think this game's gonna go is that he's going to be getting double covered all game. By he, I mean Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp is gonna be double covered most of the game. The Cincinnati's corners are typically on the weaker side too, so they're going to need some help, especially with Cooper Kupp. So I think that leaves OBJ a little bit open in today's game. So, well, not today's game, but you know what I'm talking about. So he's hit the last two games here in the playoffs here. So he beat up San Francisco 113, and then Tampa Bay at 69. So I think he's in a pretty good spot here versus Cincinnati. Let's take a look more into this one though. We take a look at StatMuse. This is what I'm using for most of these here. So we take a look at Odell Beckham Jr. game log. And we take a look at some of his games here. So obviously some games were from Cleveland and all that, but he stepped in obviously on the 15th. He didn't do too much, but since then he hit the over in a couple of these games. Oh wait, hold up. We got to go by including playoffs. We got to put that in there. Okay, so this is how it's been going lately. So he's facing some weaker opponents this time. The corners on them. So like San Francisco has some weak corners. He wasn't able to hit the first time, but he killed him the second time. But like I said, that's just how I kind of think the game's going to go, is where they're going to be doubling up Cooper Kupp most of the time, and Odell Beckham will be left in one-on-one and should be able to hopefully get a little bit better advantages on his opponent there. But let me know what you guys think about that one down in the comments. But all right, let's move on here to another receiving prop here. We're going to go ahead and go with T. Higgins. I think it's going to be kind of the same pace where they kind of, not as much as double cover like Cooper Kupp, but they might be doubling up Jamar Chase quite a bit. And we've seen this plenty of times where Jamar Chase gets the extra attention and T. Higgins just goes off. This could be one of those games. T. Higgins should not have Jalen Ramsey on him. He should be on Jamar Chase. So I'm thinking T. Higgins has a good spot here against LA. And he had two huge games, 103 and 96 receiving yards. I feel like T. Higgins is a little bit slept on here. So let's take a look, though, at T. Higgins. Whoops, I spelled his name wrong. Yeah. Here we go, T. Higgins. Game log including playoffs, and here we go. So like we said, he went off in those two games. So we take a look at some of these, though. So Does this pull up the game? So this does pull up the game. So player stats here. So in this game, Jamar Chase, see, they held Jamar Chase, and this is the game where T. Higgins went off. It happens all the time. Either one of the two go off. So I'm betting on that T. Higgins goes off in this one. But so T. Higgins this time, I guess Jamar Chase, he had less receptions, but he just able to get the better hand on him with the yards after the catch, it looks like. But T. Higgins 7 for 96 nonetheless. So I think he's just in a pretty good spot here because there's certain games where, I mean, this game for sure. I think in this game, Jamar Chase had a great game too, actually. But Jamar Chase, yeah, they both had huge games. Yeah, that was a game where Burrow had like 400, 500 passing yards. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking though. That Jamar Chase is going to get some extra attention there. Should open up T. Higgins quite a bit. All right, let's move on here. Let's talk about some Cam Akers rushing yards. So, rushing yards here, we're going to use another tool to take a look at some of this here. So, 54.5 is what he is at on prizepicks. So, coming off of 248 rushing yard games. Let's take a look here at NFL team opponent rushing yards per game. This is over on team rankings. So, we take a look here at where the Bengals are. So, Cincinnati here. Where is Cincinnati at allowing some rushing yards? So, Cincinnati here, they are the 8th best at it in the league, but it's either them and the Rams now, but 106.2 is what they're averaging so far this season, allowing rushing yards. So I'm thinking, not Sony Michel, Cam Akers has a pretty good game today. Not today, but against the Cincinnati Bengals here. So we don't have too much to go off of, but let's go ahead and take a look at Cam Akers game log. Plus, he's getting healthier and healthier as the season goes on, so he's getting attempts too, like 24 attempts. Tampa Bay, they have an even tougher rushing defense, and he had 48 rushing yards on them on 24 attempts. There's a chance that he gets around, I assume he'll have more than 13 rushing attempts this game, hopefully, but like he was able to get it done. That game he had 17 attempts, 24 attempts. I assume he'll be between like the 13 and 24 range of attempts in this game. I think he can definitely get it done, especially because he had 48 rushing yards against San Francisco on 13 attempts. So I think he's in a pretty good spot here against an easier defense than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were, and also the San Francisco 49ers. So he just needs a couple more than that, and he can get this done in today's game. So let's go ahead and move on, though, to player prop number 4 here. We're going to take a look at another rushing yards one, but it's probably not who you think. It's Matthew Stafford. Let's take a look here at Matthew Stafford rushing yards. So Matthew Stafford game log. So Stafford's been going off in the playoffs here, rushing yards wise. So, they're not even going to show us his rushing yards. But we take a look here in the playoffs here, 8, 6, and 22 rushing yards. So he's been running for the ball. He's been running for his life in the playoffs here, and I think he'll keep the same pace here. He knows a lot more is on the line. He run the ball quite a little bit more, I think, and be able to get those 5 rushing yards hopefully. The only thing I think that kills this is the knee downs. So be aware of that because the Rams have a better shot to win this game than the Bengals do, statistically. I mean, that's what the odds say at least. So I'm thinking knee downs might hurt this, but if he can get those rushing yards, he's in a pretty good spot. So let's take a look, though, at Cincinnati. Actually, there's one T, isn't there? I think there's one. There is one, but I think I still spelled it wrong. I don't know. Cincinnati Bengals rushing yards to QBs game log. Did this pull up? We gotta do including playoffs. Including playoffs. There we go. So the Bengals to Patrick Mahomes allowed 25 rushing yards. I'm sorry, this is Joe Burrow. Why is it pulling up Joe Burrow? Opponent. Let's see if this pulls up. Okay, they're still not pulling up. Man, I used to be able to get this up in the past. I don't remember what I did. Opponent rushing yards. Let's take out that. It still didn't pull up. Okay. Apparently we can't pull that up, but I was trying to take a look at what Cincinnati was able to do. But yeah, I guess we can still take a look at the games though, right? Take a look at Kansas City, how many yards Mahomes had rushing. So Patrick Mahomes. Nope, they're not going to. Here we go. So he had 19 rushing yards. So Mahomes, he usually runs for about 25 yards a game. So he kind of fell on the smaller side right there. but still had 19 nonetheless. So let's take a look at the Tennessee Titans game and Tannehill. So Tannehill in this game had 12 rushing yards, so not that big of a runner right there. He had 12 rushing yards. So far I'm kind of liking a little bit for Matthew Stafford. And Carr, not a big runner either. We'll see what he did. He had 1 rush for 20 yards. So let's take a look at Cleveland. This will be the final one we take a look at here. Let's take a look at Baker Mayfield. All right, so Baker here. I'm sorry, oh yeah, I forgot Baker was done. But Case Keenum had 5 rushes for 15 yards. So, I don't know. Seems like a pretty good spot for Matthew Stafford. Again, I'm just kind of worried about the knee downs, though. I think there's a shot he kneels it down at the end of the game. But we'll see. It's kind of a small chance that they knee it down at the end of the game with Stafford, but in a way. But I don't know. It just depends. Who knows? Maybe this Bengals are the last one to touch the ball. So, all right, last player prop here. We're going to go with some field goals made. We're going to go with Evan McPherson over 1.5 field goals made. Let's take a look here at StatMuse once again. Take a look at Evan McPherson game log, including playoffs. Here we go. So we need him to grab 2 if we want to take this over here. So he had 4, 4, and 4 in every single playoff game. There's also a record on the line. I believe he needs to make 3 field goals to break Adam Vinatieri's or tie. It's either tie or break, I think, at 3 to break Adam Vinatieri's field goal made in the playoffs record, which I'm not saying they're going to be in the Super Bowl worried about Evan McPherson making his field goals, but I don't know. It could be in McPherson's head. He kind of wants it, but I don't know. Just something to note there, but he needs to, and he has gotten it done in every single game so far this season, except for this game right here against the Chargers. And this is, well, not every game, but every game since the Chargers game here on December 5th. It's going to be February 13th, so over 2 months it's been since he's made less than 2 field goals made. So I'm thinking it's a pretty good spot here for Evan McPherson. But had against Pittsburgh, had against the Raiders. He missed in these games. Hit in all these. So I don't know. He's in a pretty good spot, man, to make his field goals, I'm thinking, against the Rams in this game. So we'll see how this ends up going. But those are the player props I got for you guys. Evan McPherson is probably my favorite one, I will say. Save the best for last, I think, right there. But it's going to do it, man. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, if anyone's new, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn post notifications. Those 2 things will help me out. Spread you guys really sweet things. And again, use code DOMG on prizepicks to match your first deposit 100% up to $100. But that's going to do it. Appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.